the salary and promotion opportunities and stuff of that nature. And I think that that pretty much, am I correct, Detective, that that pretty much is the same verbiage that was used as well on the last agreement? Is that
Yes.
correct, Detective?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Page 36 deals with a saving clause, basically indicating that anything that is contrary or unlawful or unconstitutional basically would be deleted, but our contract would still continue and be in good standings. And the last, page 37, is basically the complete agreement clause and to be approved, if approved, and then executed by the president as well as by your honorable mayor. Appendix A, Mayor, deals with the pay schedule of the police department as how it will be in 2018 to 2019, 2019 to 20, and then 20 to 21, which will be the end of the agreement that we have. And I don't think that anything, do you remember, Detective, was there anything that was changed in this pay scale? Pretty much.
Just for the first year that, for the annual pay that, I guess Ms. Turner already did her budget. So the first year, it's only a 1%.
That's correct. It's going to be a 1% and a 4 and a 4, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Council,
Did that pretty much? Yes, sir.
Any question?
Question on the organizational chart. Did we have an assistant police chief on it?
On our, let me see,
Our
appendix
organizational
A?
chart. Huh?
Are you looking under appendix A?
I'm looking at 33 where we're stating that there's an assistant chief of police. Is that, do we have that on the organizational chart?
I don't think that we have that. I don't see that on the organizational. Well, it is. Assistant Chief of Police to be determined by the City Council. So that is on page 39.
Yep, that's not the organizational chart.
The organization has a spot for that, but we
Has a
couldn't-
spot, good,
we
okay.
couldn't finish that because we had to wait till we approved the CBA. But one of the questions that came up the last time was it wasn't in, and so the debate
Yes.
came back and forth, which say, is it a management position or is it protected by the bargaining agreement? And they agreed to enter that position into the bargaining agreement.
Okay.
That was what we negotiated.
And once again, if I'm correct, right, Ms. Turner, that was also a very heated debate over that issue.
That and the gym memberships. So
We gave up our gym membership.
the assistant chief made it, but the gym memberships did not. Okay. Any other comments or questions by the council?
We've got a motion on the floor.
I know. I got a motion and a second. Any citizens' comments?
Madam Mayor. Oh,
Yes, sir.
I'll be after Mr.
Bob Vernon, the city of Floresville. I just have one quick question. I know anytime I put a traffic stop through the sheriff's department, when they have a suspected intoxicated driver, they call a trooper in to administer the breathalyzer. Does the city do the same thing? Just out of curiosity.
We're trying to, my understanding, Detective, that's why we are paying a little bit higher so that we can have it on certified intoxilizer.
Okay.
We do have one that's
Okay.
certified,
Okay.
because what happens is sometimes we don't have a trooper on.
Right,
duty.
exactly.
So instead of calling a trooper, we have a
Yeah.
officer that's already certified to do that test.
Okay, just wondering.
Yes.
And
Councilman Ortiz?
Thank you, Madam Mayor, council, staff, and guests. It is an honor to represent the council as your negotiator with the Officers Association. Henrietta, myself, and staff did a good job, and I commend them on that. And I would just like to say that the officers sacrificed some funds, and we try to work with them. Going back years ago, I can recall me and Madam Mayor were on council way back from 2000 2006. And let me tell you this, ladies and gentlemen, those officers were on food stamps. And to give the council, we did the best that we could at that time. So the officers who were just coming and going, and now we have a time to make it right. We've been doing good with the PD, I believe we've had an opportunity to save some funds with our legal attorney in the past, and we fund the officers with some weapons and some equipment and a little bit of training. And I commend the council on that. And I just like to say thank you very much, council.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor.
Any other comments? If not, I have a motion on the floor by Councilwoman Cantu, seconded by Councilman Jimenez. All those in favor of approving the collective bargaining agreements, raise your right hand. 5-0. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. Moving on to item, let me see, we're moving on to item 1A. Yes.
I would like to thank the city council for the approval of this contract. Thank you very much. I know the officers are happy, and if there's anything that we can do for the council, just let us know. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to item 1A, consideration and action to approve the operating budget for fiscal year 2018, 2019.
Thank you, Mayor and City Council. All right, in your late there, you see some additional pages. We spoke of some things, and so there were 2 minor changes, and I just wanted to point them out to you. Connie was nice enough to make sure that the page numbers are the same, but we highlighted the change. And so the 2 things that we changed was, one, we entered into the amount for the chief of police salary, and then the other thing was we increased a little over $6,000 for additional legal fees. We wanted to make sure we were covered on legal fees, and we did not go over in that amount. So if you look on page 2, you see it says legal fees, and the reason why there's zeros in years before is because we've separated the water fund from the wastewater fund. So if you see each one that's changed, that it's highlighted. And so we laid out the pages. And if you want to insert and change the pages from our final draft to this is what the changes are.
Council, I'll give you all a few minutes to put this together.
That's an additional, right?
Yes, that's an addition. We did not reduce that. We wanted to make sure, as we're entering to, if there's anything in reference to elections or annexation, that we have enough legal to be able to address that. Of course, our wonderful city attorney has honored her agreement for her set amount, but this is just in case. And if you look at page 16, that speaks to the chief's salary increase, which I believe is about $800. Connie? About $800 for the chief, with his 1% increase according to the contract.
Page 16.
Page 16. Page 16 speaks to, it doesn't break it down individual, but those numbers would change because of the chief's salary. We wanted to put his 1% in there contractually, so that's why those numbers changed. And the only other change we made besides what you already had before was the legal fees, and because we divided out over the different departments, it changed on each one. So for example, it went, that increased that amount. So we wanted to make sure that we had enough money in that budget to be able to do so.
Yes.
Okay. I just want to let you know that the extra pages that you have are the totals for each one. For example, 5222.
On
That
page.
was
On page.
page 8. That was changed from the draft, the 918,654. And page 10 was also changed. General fund on page, which is the last one.
Okay, you said page 8, and after page 8?
She said page 10,
And these are only the totals
the total
for the
expenditure.
funds. And page 24 is the general fund. That one did not change. I moved funds around so that way we could not go over, because this is the critical fund that we cannot go over.
Is that why a couple of them have $1,000 here difference and
Yes.
a little bit of money to keep you to zero balance? Okay.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So I've seen a lot of little numbers that
Yes.
reflects. Okay.
Yes, and our goal is to keep it balanced and zero balance. It will take us about 2 to 3 years to get the reserves that we're going for, but that's our goal.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, that with the new computer system and updated, every month we'll be able to see where we sit in each department as
Yes.
opposed to the budget.
Yes, and we can add that to, that starting a new fiscal year, we can add that along with the check registry and kind of be able to do that. Also, it will not allow the system that we have it set up now. If we put $2,000 on a budget line item and we try to charge something to it, it will not allow us to do so.
Okay.
And unfortunately, I cannot come on the same month at the end of the month and report that same month because I have to allow at least 2 weeks for everything to post. So we're always reporting a month behind. For example, July is reported in August, August is reported in September because I have to allow taxes don't come in until the 10th of each month. Beverages, sales tax doesn't come in until also the first 2 weeks of the month. Sales tax don't come in until the first week, the 2 weeks of the month. So I need to allow all of that to come in before I can come in and report.
Okay.
Mr. I did have a question, Governor. On page 44,
Okay, let me get my full budget.
on page 44, y'all budgeted 20,000 for the loteria. You don't need 20,000 for the loteria.
Okay, she asked me that question. I understood when we were going through the budget workshops that you wanted to make it, let me see.
You said page 44?
Yes.
Okay, that you wanted to make the holiday extravaganza, I think it was 30,000, but I had to make it even through all the events. So we have $20,000 on the loteria, but if we don't use it, we can always transfer it. I can, or city manager can approve to transfer from one line item to another within the same department, in the same section.
You mean
For-
for the department materials,
Yes.
or any of those?
Yes, for any of those. So let's say, for example, that the 4th of July spend more than 20,000, but the loteria is not gonna spend any more than 10,000, and then I'll transfer the deficit onto 4th of July so we can go ahead and not have a negative budget. But what I cannot do is go, for example, from street department to parks department. If I'm gonna do that, I have to come to you and ask you for a budget amendment.
Any other questions?
And I noticed that y'all have the mariachi, but that is separate.
Yes, ma'am, that's an event that's separate. But we are scheduling that, and I believe when the Fourier came, we're scheduling that, and so we want to get ahead of the game and start advertising for them.
Yeah, but that was something that was discussed, but I was not given directive to put it in the budget. So if we put it and you think that $20,000 for the loteria is too much, then we can separate some for mariachi and some for loteria.
Yes, and we'll have Chaz at the beginning of our fiscal year bring all the calendar events.
Yes.
Because the next one that's coming up very quickly is going to be what we're outlining for the extravaganza. And we definitely need to make sure that we start early on the mariachi so that we can have the proper advertisement.
Okay, any other questions pertaining to the proposed budget?
You left the salaries in for the 2 positions that are not here right now?
The salary for the full-time parks position and the part-time position for this building?
Plus Public Works, plus,
No, sir, Public Works is not in there. I said that from the beginning, that in my budget mention, I was not budgeting for Public Works. The change that I did make was the position for the USDA. After discussions, we left the USDA in there, but in my proposal, we didn't eliminate the position, but I didn't fund that position for this year.
I just don't see how you're going to do it. We already have enough complaints coming in on the phones, and you're trying to carry too much load. I understand. I just think you're overworked. I just think the public works director can put out more fires than you can, because we'll be having a conversation about a long email I got. I don't want to do it here, but I just think we're having too many complaints, and we need somebody to take some of that load off. I was under the impression you weren't going to hire somebody this year, but you was going to put it on for next year. That's what my impression was.
Okay, in my budget letter that I said I was not going to ask you all to eliminate the position, but I was not funding or replacing that position in the budget. The other position I asked to eliminate, to leave open a position in Public Works Department that are currently open and assign the job duties to someone, to leave it open. So I don't want to eliminate it, but I'm not funding it this year. I did ask to eliminate the USDA, but after consideration, you all said that you would think that we need to do so after we're going forward with other USDA projects, and so that position is funded going forward, and it's not split funded, it's only between the two. So we took it off the admin and put it onto just the water and sewer, because those are those projects coming from the USDA, the water and sewer. We're not doing the administrative duties anymore.
And that's how I was able to balance general fund.
I understand how we're going to do the balance of general fund, but I also understand a bunch of us are getting emails and phone calls because stuff is not happening, and people are not returning them, and we have brought this subject up. So I don't want Mrs. Turner to keep getting slammed.
Well, I'm not just going to leave it where it go, because some of the things, the complaints that the public's doing, no fault to them, it's actually not Public Works. It's actually, some of the complaints that we have are actually because what's going on with the gas company as well as the Spectrum. And so
Yeah,
Spectrum should be
mine,
able
you're
to-
basically public work stuff. And we can meet after this, or we can meet in the morning about it, but,
We can meet in the morning about it, but I'm just saying that this is the position, I had given the position, we did not, and this, what you have here, was not to fund the Public Works Director.
I'd like to make a comment, Madam Mayor, on this
Yeah.
issue pertaining to the Public Works Director. We had that conversation, and the reason was that the supervisors were supposed to pick up the load, and Henrietta too, but let's make it plain and simple. We are in the red. We couldn't afford a director. I mean, and it's hopefully this coming year he'll get better. And I agree with y'all on this. We do need one, but because of the shortfall, we just can't afford. We've been making cuts. And we've been raising fees, so we're just trying to get out of debt, out of the red and come into the black, and hopefully it'll continue. Like a gentleman said, we've been, we've been in the red this year, we've been in the red the other year, and this maybe 1 year we were doing good, but we got to do better. The taxpayer and the customers deserve best. But hopefully with this budget year, we'll pay more attention to those positions. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Any other comments by the council? Any citizens' comments pertaining to the budget? If not, I will entertain a motion. I have a motion on the floor by Councilman Jimenez to approve the operating budget for fiscal year 2018-2019, ordinance 2018-14. Do I have a second? Seconded by Councilwoman Cantu. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. All those opposed? Thank you. 3-2.
Thank you.
And with no other business on the agenda, this meeting is now concluded at 7:20.